Please ask before proceeding further. It is compulsory to be clear of the previous day's concepts for OOPs especially. Is there any kind of questions, any doubt? Okay, okay, fine. We have seen. Just a minute, yes, just a minute. I'll be back. One minute. Okay. Uh, Overriding is done. Did I explain final concept? Did I explain final concept? Okay. Uh, have I explained wrapper classes? Have I explained wrapper classes? Is wrapper classes done for you guys? Okay. So first, let me complete both the topics. Okay. I'll complete final and as well as your wrapper classes. So basically, okay. To start with, I'll go with final. Okay. So I'll make a class and I will say F1. Okay. So this is my particular class. Okay. Uh, if I have a distance of 1 kilometer, okay, if I have 1 kilometer, how many meters will make 1 kilometer? How many meters will make 1 kilometer? Okay, I will say 1,500 meters will make 1 kilometer. I will say, sir, I will say 1,500 meters will become 1 kilometer. Is it possible? Can I change the value? Can we change the value? So these are constants, right? These are constants. So 9.8 is equals to gravitational constant. 1,000 meters is equals to 1 kilometer. 1,000 ml is equals to 1 liter. Yes or no? So these are constants where you cannot change the value. Yes. So in the same way, if if we want to create, if we want to create constants, we can have, we can have, we can have final variable. Okay. Basically, final is a keyword. What is final? Final is a keyword. We can prefix, we can, we can prefix final for, final for variable, method, and class. Okay. So basically, what is final? Final is a final is a keyword. It is a, actually it is a, final is a keyword. It is a modifier. It is a modifier. And to be specific, non-access modifier. Okay. For example, I'll show you one. I'll show you some examples here. I will say int I is equals to 45, and I will say the I value. Okay. I'm passing the I value and I'm executing it. I'm getting 45. Okay. And I will say I is equals to 85, and and I am able to change the value. So here, we're able to change the values, yes, right? We're able to change the values. And also we are, and it is allowing to, and it is allowing us to use the value also. But here, what I will do, I will make this as final variable. Okay. I will make this as final variable. See, read the error. Final local variable I cannot be assigned. Once you are assigning the value for a final variable, we cannot reassign the value for it. Okay. It will never allows you to reassign the value. Understood? Only once you can assign while creating. Got the difference between a regular variable and a final variable? Anyone has any questions, any doubts? There are few more examples of final variables. But did you guys understand? So for any variable, if you're prefixing final for that, only once you can assign the value. Okay. So this is about a local final variable. You might have doubts, sir. Can I make global final variables? static final variable is equals to, I'll take India. I'll make it as so. We can create a static final variable also. Okay, we can create static final variable also. And for example, if you are planning to have a final variable and you don't want to assign the value for it here, but you have to assign it. It is compulsory to assign the value whenever you're creating it. But the other way to the other way to assign the value is you can use a static block to assign the value. Okay. One is you have to assign the value whenever you're creating. You have to assign the value whenever you're creating. But if you're just declaring it and if you want to assign it, you can use the help of a static variable. Sorry, what is that? A static block. Okay. In the same way, in the same way, you can also have a non-static final variable also. You can also have a non-static final variable also. So in all the formats of variables, whatever we have seen, a local final variable, a static final variable, and also a non-static final variable, you can have it. Understood? Understood the difference? So what is the advantage of a final variable? Once you're assigning the value, you cannot reassign the value for it. Understood? Any doubts regarding final variable? I mean, okay. So shall we proceed towards the final methods? Shall we proceed towards the final methods? These are very small and simple concepts, okay? You have to remember how they behave. You have to just remember how they behave, okay? So here I will say F2 and this, not main. I create a method, okay? I create a method and I'll just say it is a M1 method. Okay, I'll just say this is a M1 method. And I'll create another method. I'll create another class. Okay. This will extends F2. Okay. So is it allowing me to override the method? Is it allowing me to override the method? Wait, this is see here. F2 is a class. In this class, I have a M1 method. and I have F3 class who is a subclass of F2, and I'm overriding the method. But in case, I will make this as a final method. Okay. Whenever you make a method as a final method, see here, whenever you make a method as a final method, see, can you guys read the message? Is the message visible for all of you? Yeah. So you cannot override a final method. Okay. The power of overriding will be removed. The power of overriding will be removed. Okay. So if a method is a final method, you cannot override the method. Okay. If you're having a variable which is final, you cannot reassign it. If you are having a class, okay, if you're having a class, for example, let me show you. Let me show you. Where is, yeah, see, string class is one of the final class, okay? String class is one of the final class. See here, whenever it is declared, can you see that this is a final class? Can you guys see this is a final class? So, final class cannot be inherited, okay? The property of a final class is, you cannot inherit a final class, okay? So, understood about all the three members? Understood about all the three final members? So final variable cannot be reassigned. Your final method cannot be overridden, and final class cannot be inherited. Okay. This is the behavior of final. Okay. So next, if I have to say about, or if I have to discuss about, if I have to discuss about okay. So we have seen int I is equals to 10. And int is a primitive value. Int is a primitive value. Integer is a primitive value. Yes or no? Int is a primitive value. In the same way, you have something called as integer. Okay. Integer j is equals to 25. Okay. Integer j is equals to 25. This is called as a wrapper class. These kind of classes we call it as, what do we call it as? Wrapper classes in Java. We call them as wrapper classes in Java. So for every data type, see here, for every data type, you have a wrapper class. And wrapper class is a non-primitive format of the primitive data type. Okay. Wrapper class are the non-primitive format of the primitive data type. Okay. So whenever you're handling with some objects, you want to have primitive values in the format of non-primitive data type. At that period of time, you will use wrapper classes. Understood? Understood? So, sir, can I directly print the value? Can I directly print the value of a wrapper class? Yes, it is possible. So whatever the value is present inside, that gets printed. Okay. You can directly pass the value like this. Okay. You can directly pass the value like this, or else, what you can do is, I just create a variable. Okay. So k is equals to I dot, sorry, integer dot value of I. So one is you can directly assign the value. One is while you're creating, you can directly assign the value. And yeah, okay. So this 25 is this integer j is a non-primitive type. Okay. And this I is a primitive type. So this primitive data 25 is converted to integer type. Okay. Directly, this primitive value is converted into non-primitive format. So converting something which is from primitive to object type, to object or non-primitive. This is called as boxing. What do we call it as? Boxing. And implicitly, as this process is being done, we can also call it as auto boxing. Okay. Explicitly, if you want to do it, you have a method called as value of method. Value of method is present in all the classes. Okay, in all the wrapper classes. So you can call the value of method and you can assign the values. Okay. So this is implicit format and this is your explicit format. And especially value of is a static method. Value of is a static method. Any question in boxing process? Any question in boxing process? Okay. Anyone has any questions? Anyone has any questions? Okay. Okay, wait. Having that much doubt. So I will say, so char ch is equals to c. Okay. So what is the data type of the variable which I have created now? What is the data type which I have created now? Is it a primitive data type or a non-primitive data type? Is it a primitive data type or a non-primitive data type? Primitive. But for the same data type, I want a non-primitive format. So if you want a non-primitive format, you will go with wrapper class. Okay. You will go with a wrapper class. Okay. Whenever I say non-primitive or object type, we will use new keyword, constructor, etc., etc., right? Whenever I say it is non-primitive, we will use new keyword, constructor, use the reference. Yes or no? Yes or no? Whenever I say objects, whenever I say objects, we will use new keyword constructor. But am I using anywhere any constructors or any external variables to assign the value inside the character variable? Are we using anything to assign the value for character? No, right? So this is so basically converting a primitive value to non-primitive type. This is called as boxing. What do we call this as? Boxing. Okay. From JDK 1.5, it is also called as auto boxing. Why? Because implicitly your program itself is storing the value inside the dabba. Understood? Understood. So from a primitive format, I am converting that to non-primitive. So this is called as boxing. Okay. Sir, can I do it explicitly? Can I do it explicitly? So yes, answer you can do integer var2. So before this, what I will say int I is equals to 10. So I will say var2 dot var2 is equals to integer dot value of I. So with the help of value of method, you can do explicit boxing. Explicit boxing. Understood how to do implicit boxing and as well as explicit boxing? So basically what I'm doing, I am making a primitive value to work like a non-primitive data type. Okay, you can directly print all the values. You can directly print all the values. You can print all the values directly. Whatever the value you have assigned inside the dabba, that gets printed. Understood? Understood boxing? Any boxing? So any doubt in boxing? So shall we go for unboxing? Shall we go for unboxing? This is boxing. Converting the Ulta process is called as unboxing. Okay. So I create another class. So here I will say I will directly say 55. We have it. Yes. So for this, one thing what you can do is so basically int var2 is equals to what I can do var dot you can use int value method. Okay, you can use int value method. You can use an int value method in the same way. So basically, this is unboxing. Unboxing. Okay, or else you can also directly do it. Okay, double one is equals to 42. So I can so this is auto unboxing. So one is explicitly you can use int value method. For int it is int value, double is a double value, float it will be float value, character is equal to character value. You can use value methods. You can use value methods to unbox or else directly also you can do the unboxing process. Okay. So either way you can do the both. Primitive to non-primitive, non-primitive to primitive. You can do any kind of conversions. Understood? Understood boxing and unboxing? Okay. So shall I go to the next example? So we have done with primitive values. In the same way, can I do with strings? Can I do with the string? For example, can I do with string? Can I convert a string into primitive type? So one method integer dot parse into yes one. Okay. So the value inside the string variable is of integer type. The value inside the variable S1 is it of integer type? Yes or no? The value inside the S1 is of integer type. So first what is happening here in this line, S1 which is in string format, S1 which is in string format, this is converted to integer format. And again, and lastly, this is converted to int format. Okay. So converting a string value into a primitive value, we call this as we call this as parsing. Okay. We call this as parsing. Here I can say S1 and here I can say VAR. Here I can say VAR. See here, both are converted. Both are converted. But you guys might have doubt. You guys might have doubt. Sir, both are giving me 10 only as the answer. First one is of a string type, second one is of integer type. Do you guys have doubt how it is? How can you say confidently that it is a primitive type? So you guys might be having doubt, right? Whether it is a non-primitive 10 or a primitive 10. Anyone has a doubt? Sir, how can we confirm that the converted value is of not string type, it is of int type? Anyone has any doubts like that? So if you want to confirm that anything added to a string, what will happen? Anything added to a string, what will happen? What will be your result? Will the value get added? Will the value get joined together? Whenever you add something to a string, will it get added? Will it get joined together? It gets concatenated. It gets concatenated. Yes, a better word. See here, as it is a string, it is getting concatenated. As your value is converted to a primitive value, it is getting added. Understood? Understood? And you can have a doubt, and you might have a doubt. Sir, for example, I will say I say string item. Okay. Int var 3 is equals to, I will say, integer dot parseInt of var2. So can I convert I along with 10 into a int? Previously it was only 10 in the string. It got converted. But whenever I have something which is not of the similar data type, and you convert, you will get a number format exception. What do you get? You get number format exception. So that is why whenever you are parsing, make sure there are no foreign data types. Okay. If the data types are not matching whenever you are parsing, you will get the number format exception. Got it? Any doubts? Any doubts in parsing, boxing, auto boxing, unboxing? Any questions? Any doubts? Okay.